Welcome back to this, already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I've got Charles Alvarez in the studios, and he is with Cornerstone Business Academy. That's cornerstonebusinessacademy.com. Really good at what he does, which is professional coaching for businesses in the customer relations and the sales and marketing, particularly the sales and marketing area and space, and been doing it for a long time. And I know from firsthand experience how good he is because of businesses that he's worked with that I'm involved in. And so I love the work he does. And Charles, tell us a little bit more about what you do, and then introduce us to your guest today.
Well, me and actually Hans, who's our guest today, we're actually in the same organization, so I'm really excited to have him on. But we work specifically with business owners to really do three things. Number one is to really engage their employees. So many people are frustrated at their employees and their performance, and there's a particular reason for that. And what our job to do is to fix that in order to leverage the business owner's time and to help the business scale and get to the next level. And going alongside with that, we also work with our clients to increase the amount of leads they generate and to increase the effectiveness of their sales team. Speaking of which, Hans Trupp does the same thing, and he's awfully good at it. And I'm super excited to have him on our show. So Hans, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Why don't you kind of give us a little bit of your background and what exactly you do for your clients?
Sure, fantastic. Along with Charles, I work with Focal Point Coaching, and we have a division of Focal Point Coaching that is targeted toward the corporate training or the group coaching model. And we work to create customized training programs for organizations to really help with employee engagement as a foundation, and then add appropriate skills and knowledge training on top of that to create a very full package and get some fantastic returns on training investment dollars by an organization, and are very successful at laying a foundation work first of really helping individuals get tremendous clarity about what their personal goals are and linking them with their efforts in the workplace to get sustained behavioral change.
Very good. Go ahead, Charles.
So Hans, what would you tell to people who say, you know what, I'm really not interested in investing in my people, or, if I invest in my people, then they'll leave. I'm sure you've heard that on one or more occasions. So what would you respond when somebody tells you that?
That's a great question. Let me ask you, it sounds like you're saying that one of the concerns that you hear out in the marketplace is that business owners or executives aren't interested in investing in their people because they might leave. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Well, that's that can be a concern for a business owner, and I guess there's a couple of ways to look at that. If you certainly give individuals more skills and knowledge, it might possibly prepare them for better or different roles in the marketplace. And I think that what we really strive to do is to help in the training, help the employees understand that this is a tremendous investment or training they're getting in themselves and for their own personal development. And that can be often seen as real value. And so I think it often builds a sense of reciprocity, really, between in the relationship between the employee and the owner, and it helps to deepen the relationship. And we also can open the conversation quite often that allows employers and employees to have a more sincere dialogue about what it is that they want and need, and often that will help to strengthen that relationship rather than put a wedge in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems to me that, what's the three most important words in business? Relationship, relationship, and relationship. It would seem like an employer cultivating that would make sense, including on the on the employee level. But at the same time, to hear your question at first, Charles, seemed kind of bizarre to me. But that just kind of shows you how out of whack, I guess, business thought is today. Because to me, it seems like you'd only want better employees.
It's interesting. We work with some manufacturing companies, and it's amazing what these companies will do to invest into their equipment, how they'll take it down for maintenance, how they'll service it, how they'll take care of it. Yet the thing that costs 60 to 70% of a company's expense, which is the people, they have a completely different mindset. And, Hans and I talked about a couple of weeks ago that, if you don't want to invest in your employees, try not investing to them and see how miserable your life can be.
Right. Can I speak to that, Charles? And
sure.
One thing I would say is that, quite often it can be a reality that employees will transition out of a company after a training like ours. And quite often that's ultimately a benefit to the employer, because the only thing worse than losing employees is having an employee quit and stay.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, right. Where for all extents and purposes, they might as well not be there, but they continue to show up waiting to get fired, I guess.
Waiting for their next paycheck, really.
Yeah, and believing that they won't get fired for whatever reason because they continue to grace that place with their presence. So,
right. One of the things that we do is we basically work to, with our training, what we're really marketing here is bottom line profit improvements. And how we do that is we target the single biggest expense that a company has, and that's its people. And most reports that you read and averages and companies that you explore and study, you'll notice that almost 60% of their total expenditure is on its people. It's the single biggest investment they make every 2 weeks in their payroll. And so this is what we look to improve the productivity of. And what we can do is we can increase profits through better engagement and better sales, and that certainly translates into higher conversion rates and reduced marketing costs, and those kinds of measurables are what we use to determine exactly how effective our training is, and we can demonstrate to each organization and decision maker and owner what the return on investment has been.
Thanks so much for being with us, Hans Trupp. Why don't you wrap it up real quickly with a minute left, Charles?
Well, Hans, thank you very much for being on our show. It is so important for companies to invest in their people. It's their single greatest expense, and the job that Hans and I have is to turn it from an expense to your greatest single asset. So, Hans, thank you so much for being on our show.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.
You bet. Great segment. Enjoyed it very much. Do want to thank Charles Alvarez and the folks at Cornerstone Business Academy for help making this show happen today. Always grateful for that. Also do want to remind the listener best content here, including to some great interviews today. Enjoyed talking to Governor Gilmore of Virginia, another potential presidential candidate on the program today. Make sure you check them all out over there at our sister news site, usdailyreview.com. Last week I interviewed Rand Paul. You can check out that interview with Rand Paul at usdailyreview.com. Make sure you do that. And also want to remind the listener that the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. We've got great news, content, and other information for you. We're constantly updating that. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you spend it wisely right here on this station.